Hello everyone, this is Gorax. Today I'll show you 15 teams I prepared for Otherworld exploration on my main account. This means the team will use some legendary artifacts and legendary heroes, but worry not, a free-to-play version where I use only epic and rare heroes and artifacts is in the making, so everyone should be happy. If you have access to few legendary heroes and artifacts, this will definitely give you an idea how to build your own teams. So let's start. The first thing I want to mention is the general idea of how to build your teams for Otherworld exploration. If you have strong damage dealers, you pair them with weak support/tanks. If you have weak damage dealers, you pair them with your best supports to keep them alive longer and deal damage. Now, since all of that has been tested without any Otherworld exploration buffs, the damage eventually will go even more up. And this is why we are not wasting resources with leveling heroes. We just aim for this 22 million threshold and test. And I've done all the testing for you. So if you have similar heroes, you can use them and build your teams. So the first team, and I think it is against the easiest boss to deal with, is Chaos Shadow Radiance boss, who is vulnerable to cold damage. What we're gonna use here is our top damage dealers, Gerfen with Shina, and we're gonna use weak supports basically to make sure we survive long enough to do 22 million. So we're gonna use Garian, level 50 Garian, level 50 Gulal, and we're gonna use level 50 Jaijal as witches remain applier. The team is able to do over 31 million with these equipment slots. Yes, Emperor set is the best, but we also want to bring Puppeteer set to boost the defense of our heroes. The timings, we play totally auto because and since our main damage dealer have a really low cooldown on their ultimate skills compared to those who are just here to support, we don't worry. The damage from the Ice Blast team is mainly coming from their battle skill. Another team is very similar to the team presented here, but this time around we're using a weaker duo of damage dealers, Bledin and Sadic, paired with Nord to give us extra crystals to Bledin and basically boost the range damage dealers as well. Voresh to provide extra healing, as I said, weaker support, and Sovelis to grant this extra healing as well as being the witches remain enabler through the ultimate. So as you can see, this team is doing 32 million, which is already more than we need. This is the equipment set, again, Emperor set across the board, even on the low level heroes, and skill timing is as follows. So we apply defense down with Sovelis and we follow with our damage dealers. The only thing that will be interesting for you is I'm building Voresh totally damage. Okay, so that's the goal here, to boost the damage as well, because the team will not survive the 5 minutes compared to the other teams, because that's the weaker supports. The next team will utilize the Frost heroes. So as you can see here, I'm only using Drizzt as the main damage dealer, and we're using the crit damage aura thanks to that. Everyone else is low level, but this team is enough to deal 22 million damage with this equipment here. So Olgan is basically a cheap Hawkadder, and we can use him and he's easier to scroll as well. So he will boost damage of all Frost heroes, and believe it or not, even though there is level 90 on Zephyrus, he's doing a good damage. So he is a good hero to consider when you want to do this 22 million damage. Skill timings, again, we're applying Witches Remain and we follow after that. The next team, the Frost team, is one with more Frost damage heroes, 22 million, barely getting there, but that's without any Otherworld exploration buffs. And we're using Usha and Rava duo to deal damage, and we follow that with few other Frost heroes that benefit from Frost being applied as well. And we have level 90 Vikuk. We could go for level 99 Vikuk here. He will survive longer, which will make the damage go beyond the 22 million, but it's not required because if we take into consideration the Otherworld exploration buffs, it's not needed. And there you go. This is the skill timings again, which is remain followed by our damage dealers on 19.5 second rotation, because that's what you can do with the Emperor set. And now I wanted to go for the next team, As you can see, we've done 5 Frost teams, which basically is 33% of the teams required. So I went for Rowena with Stagamuffin and with Hawkadder. Since I've been unlucky in my last summoning session that I got dupes, I put that inspiration on. It helps them to survive, and this team is doing enough damage, actually doing quite good damage, 37 million. That's mainly because I put a strong support, Furbuff, who can keep the team for the 5 minutes. So the team does tremendous damage, and these are the skill timings. We only time Rowena, and that's it. Rowena basically with Stagamuffin when the witches remain on. Second easiest boss in my opinion is the poison boss, Stagamuffin basically, and as you can see, the first team that I use uses 1 hero at level 100, 2 at 90, and 1 level 1s without scales because we don't need them. Fireball is enough and more than enough damage. As you can see, 31 million damage. This is the equipment. As you can see, we only have witches remain. Fathom Down is not even scrolled. We're basically just boosting Fireball's damage as much as possible, and we go on auto because Fathom Down is not scrolled, so his casting is way longer than the other team. The next team is with Sufa as a damage dealer, no skilled whatsoever, level 90, does a lot of damage, but also boosts the damage of Vani and Nimbus. Everyone is using, as you can see, the Emperor set again. But another thing that is quite important is we need to help Iola survive to stay alive long enough to deal that damage. So we don't build Iola with Witches Remain. We just want to make sure the boss hits the bottom line here, and that's why they have 2 Puppeteer sets there. The next team, 38 million. We're gonna use melee damage dealers, and as you can see, low levels as well. And what we're gonna use here is we need to make sure we survive long enough to deal out the damage. So everyone is grouped together, and we use 2 Puppeteer sets to boost our damage dealer's survival as well. They will get targeted despite everything you try, so we might as well just group everyone together, boost the defensive stats of everyone close to each other, and dish out the damage, as much damage as we want. And his name Yagnats, he's actually quite good, and the team can do 25 million damage before they die, because they will die eventually. Skill timing, we apply Witches Remain, and we follow with the damage afterwards. And the Witches Remain applier is Vex. So far we got 8 teams covered, and here's another one. If you have Scenario, he's enough for the Necrosis boss, which is quite easy as well, just the ultimate dealing damage to us. And I have 2 damage dealers here with Alfie and Pelosia, and someone to do buff prohibition and dispel to speed up the process, okay? But it's not needed here because Scenario is keeping the team alive through the whole duration, and the team is doing 50 million damage. So as you can see, probably Pelosia will be enough to deal that damage here. Equipment wise, we're just boosting basically Pelosia even with Witches Remain, and she's doing that much damage. Fia here doesn't require any equipment. She's just level 1 to have the 5 affinity bonus, and the skill timings full auto to deal out the damage. Then we move on to the next team, and I'm using Garius here because I didn't have like a good support. We're gonna use accuracy. We're gonna use a crit damage aura as well. So Garius here with the shield, 18-second cooldown to make sure we survive that ultimate. And Victor is MVP. He keeps the boss with constant buff prohibition, so we are dealing more damage, we're taking less damage, and the boss doesn't go through the shields. And we use Tonalnen with Foley and Eric as well. So it's totally damage-oriented team, as you will see. When it comes to the equipment, everyone is all about damage. Emperor sets all across the board. Even the gloves sometimes don't have the best stats, but we're still using them to boost the damage here. And Eric is the one applying Witches Remain, so we follow similar strategy, Witches Remain, and then all of our damage dealers, with Victor being on auto. If you have a strong burn team, you could probably build it here. It's a good idea if you don't have good poison team, for example, but I'll go over the poison team boss as well. And here we go. The philosophy that I've been following is strong damage dealers with weak supports, and as you can see, we got that here. I'm using the core 3 heroes to clear the whelps as soon as, and this team with Rook and Dargo is doing a tremendous damage. You only need 1 good corrosion applier to make Rook work, and as you can see, this is the equipment that we're using. We're boosting the damage as much as possible. We one-shotting the whelps with Fenja. That strategy still works here, and we we need to manually play this. You can play it on auto and get to like 50 million, but that works as well. I mean, that's what we need, 22 million, 72 million here. And then the next team is with a weaker corrosion heroes. I wanted to give them a try. I could go for the poison team as well. It will work, but I used the same strategy that I did with the corrosion team with Rick. And basically, I'm bringing in 2 strong supports, and Whisk can't kill the whelps all by himself because that's how corrosion works. The corrosion HP is being blocked, but so he can't kill him, but we can pop him with Sabrina and then follow on the boss, and the team is still doing 31 million, which is more than enough. And here is the equipment. Obviously, we need to manually cast the skills as well, so there's no casting here. So problem with the poison, with this boss, fire boss, that you need to manually cast to do this kind of damage. Although I did run it on auto and I got to like 30, I think 30 million, so it's not too bad. And then we go to the next boss, Ice. So we're gonna use necrotic damage dealers, and Ozil is just enough to deal that damage. I don't even need exclusive artifacts. So basically I brought in level 1 shadow hero, and I brought in Asphalta to just give us this passive, which is tremendous. It's amazing passive, boosting everyone's damage. Daphne is enough to heal with Taldi because we just wait till we get 22 million damage and the team can die afterwards. So that's what we do here. Ozul is enough with the damage, and the team can do a really good damage on full auto. We don't need to worry about anything. We don't need to even worry about the Ozul jump. So 49 million damage, way more than enough for this kind of encounter. And then I'm going to use the new hero, well, the new old hero, Isitarian, to deal damage on this boss here with Questetia, Gladros, and Joyce. Joyce and Isitarian are probably a really good duo right now, because the buffs that Isitarian applies to the minions are being given to Joyce as well. And we finish the team with Zarlov to boost the damage and provide us with extra healing. Questetia can survive the whole fight, the 5 minutes, and we do another 49 million damage. So as you can see, similar damage between those 2 teams, so you can use them and mix and match them basically. And that leaves us with the last team. So this team could be split into 2 different teams easily, but since I don't need it, I invested too much, in my opinion, into the Frost and Ice teams. This team is doing well over 84 million. I think I'm at the moment at 90 million. This is going to be my main Radiant team. So as you can see, 90 million. This is the equipment. We're going full damage here with just Ardref killing us, and with the Ardref positioning, she's also being used as the back row hero. So the skill that stands the back row hero will be hitting Ardref, and that's kind of a secret strategy for this dungeon. If you have Aura team, this will work as well. Just basically replace the rally heroes with the Aura heroes and keep Ardref there, and you're doing pretty good. So yeah, this is it. This is the 15 teams that I prepared on my main account. I will prepare a free-to-play version as well, where I'm only using an epic artifacts and epic and rare heroes, so no legendaries. This will show you all how to do it, and obviously those formation will be upgradable for you. So if you have legendary artifacts, you can do better. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please click the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. As always, thank you for watching. Stay safe. Bye.